Hello, everyone. This is Denise at Something Beautiful Handcrafts. And I have another sewing project. So, as you may or may not know, I've been suffering from tendonitis for the past couple of months now, it seems like. So, my spinning and serious knitting has pretty much come to a halt. But I can still make socks and I can still sew. So, I've been doing a lot of that anyway. Going to be doing more of that. Now, I've been going through history with the American Girl dolls. And so I just finished Addie in the 1860s. And I actually already did the 1870s dress. It was one of the first ones I did before decided I was going to start from the beginning. So I was thinking, am I going to make another 1870s dress? And I actually think I am going to. But in the meantime, getting pretty close to Christmas here. And so I want all of my ladies here to have holiday dresses. And I realized that I'm up to like 13 dolls maybe now. So if I want to make 13 outfits, well, 12 plus a boy outfit, I really need to start now. So I'm probably going to delay the new 1870s outfit and Samantha's outfit until after the holidays. And depending on how fast I get these guys done, I might go ahead and do Samantha's because I might make her cranberry Christmas dress or something very close to it. So I was going through all my patterns trying to decide what I wanted to make. Was I going to make a different dress for each doll? Because I guess really I don't have to make one for Addie since I did make her Christmas dress. And I don't really have to make one for Felicity since technically I did make her Christmas dress. And I still might make the St. Lucia dress for Kirsten. Or I'll make her a white dress and call it St. Lucia. So maybe that's only like 10 dresses I need to do. Anyway, I was looking through the patterns trying to see what I wanted. I've got quite a few. And I thought maybe I'll make up something. But in order to move this along, I'm just going to make the same dress for every girl. But, of course, it's not going to turn out being the same dress. I'm going to do things to them to make them different. So I went up to Joann Fabrics, and I got this satin, holiday satin. It was on sale. And, of course, I got the silver and gold. And I thought I would get like the traditional Christmas red or green. But then I saw this. And it's just really pretty. So I got this instead. And I got some gold ribbon to match. I'm pretty sure I already have enough silver ribbon. And probably I'll do white with this one. And I'll just change them up. Make them all a little different. And I decided that I was just going to modify a pattern I already have. So I decided I'm using Samantha's Pinafore dress pattern. Just pretty much a basic pattern. This will be the bottom skirt. And if you haven't seen her Pleasant Company pattern, this is what it looks like. It's the bodice front, and it has a cutout for the lace in the front, which I'm not going to use. I'm saying that, but that might not be true. I might actually want using that. I haven't decided. And then the back bodice. So this is going to be a simple 3-part dress, except that I'm not going to make the sleeves. So what I'm going to do is line this dress. So it'll be these 3 pieces, then another one of these, and another 2 of these. So that makes, that's 5 pieces. 7 pieces. So it'll be a simple 7-piece dress. And that's how I'll deal with the lines on the inside. That way, I have nice clean lines on the outside, which would be cool. And Joann's had this really pretty matching tool. I didn't get it because I feel like I have some stuff and I wasn't really sure. I can always go back and get more. So I may go back and get the matching tool and put the tool around the outside of the arms. I don't know. I'll think about it. But that's how I'm going to start. Now the layout for this is pretty basic. And generally when a pattern gives layouts, I don't usually follow layouts. I just kind of do whatever I feel is best for the preservation of fabric. And so I'm going to lay this out, of course, on the long side. And I was just really trying not to say anything to the lady as she was so cutting my fabric so crookedly. But it's okay. So anyway, you can see that this does not take up the full of the piece. So there's something left over here. And I probably can get one of these. Yeah, I can get one of these over here. So that's cool. And then I'll cut 4 of these out, 2 of these guys out, And it's looking like I'm going to get probably 3 dresses from this. So that's like 369 from these guys. And maybe I will go back and get another yard and make I don't know, maybe make the red ones. We'll see. I have time, I have space. So basically, this is a really nice, easy cutout. And then I'll start by connecting the bodice to the sides. Then I'll connect the other piece of the bodice to the sides, sew those two pieces together, and then I will have, bam, a lined bodice. Then I will take this guy right here and I will gather. And I might, well, you know what? I guess it depends. I might leave enough extra room that I can fold over so I'll get a clean edge on the inside. Hadn't decided yet because, you know, this satin does have a tendency to fray a bit. If you work with satin, you know that. So I might want to do something about the fraying. I might add a stiff band on the inside, and that'll give the shape too. Or I might, like I said, I might add the tulle underneath it. I might add a polyester lining. I have a couple different options of what I could do. I could just put the fray check on a Mod Podge on the edges of it too. Not only will that stiffen the garment, but it'll protect it from fraying. So I have some options. So I'm going to go ahead and make these cuts. Now, I'm using my Fiskars cutter, which is that long 24-inch ruler cutter, make beautiful straight cuts. And then I'm just going to use the regular Fiskars rotary blade and cut out these pieces right here and iron it. I'm definitely going to iron this because it's very, very wrinkly, and pin them together and get them ready for the machine. You're looking at Molly laying down, and this is not the best view. That's just because I've been too lazy to actually open up the sewing table and set this up properly, because at the moment the sock machine is in front of the sewing table. But when I go through the complete actual steps again a second time, after I finish this dress, I'll do it properly. Okay, so anyway, it's always good to check and make sure that things fit. And I checked it out number 30, but of course she's an AG doll, not a PC doll, so we want to make sure it fits properly. And here we have it on Molly. It looks a little crooked, but that's because Molly is dressed a little differently. And so I'm going to flip it over. And I just have to make sure that the overlap is correct. Now let me show you what happened here. Now, I stitched this in like an H shape. And that's the part I walked through. So after I stitched along the shoulders of the two separate pieces, I joined them together across the neckline here. And then I actually did sew down the bottom, or I should say sew down the back, sew down the sides. But then I realized that when I joined them together, that it was a little too small for the PC doll. So I had to undo that and put the seam allowance here. So at any rate, there's like an H shape where it's completely folded open. And you can see the wrong sides of both ends. And then what I did is I pushed this end through this shoulder piece. And that's how I flipped it inside out. So at that point, all of these edges were completely closed in. And I've got a nice back. But like I said, I had used too much seam allowance and I couldn't get it to close for the PC doll. So I had to take that apart, and I will clean stitch these edges right here. I don't have a serger, so I'm either going to zigzag or I will just get as close to the edge as possible and apply a fray check. Now, I could open these guys up too and add a little bit more space, but I think I've got enough in order to put the snaps along this edge here and keep it clean. Basically, I didn't scant the seams because, like I said, this is a PC pattern, so I really didn't feel I needed to. But I'm thinking if I do want these two edges to be clean so that they will look like these edges, I might want to scamp the seams. But this is not, I mean, it's not like it's a really big deal. If you open up your own dresses, you can, or any of your clothing, you can see what gets seamed or what gets clean seamed and what doesn't. Usually there are some edges that are serged at the end. Sometimes the edges are double folded. Sometimes the edges are lined with a hem tape or an edge tape. Sometimes they're not at all. They're just cut with the pinking shears, or sometimes they're just not. It depends. And you could say, well, maybe it's the quality of the garment, but I have some Ralph Lauren dresses that don't necessarily have felt seams or serged seams or tape seams. It just kind of depends on the garment. So this is okay for me. If I was selling it, I would most certainly do the clean edge across the top. I would probably felt this edge, or yeah, I think I would, or I'd do a French seam, which is pretty cool too. Maybe I'll do a French seam for the next one. That would be neat. Okay, so what you can definitely see is how much fraying you get from these satins if you've never worked with any type of satin. The crepe back satin, from what I remember, it's been a while since I used it, doesn't fray as much as this, but it does fray a lot. So when I put the skirt piece on, which I have gathered here, when I put the skirt piece on, I'm most likely going to put a band around that because that just gets on my nerves, and even the pinking shears doesn't really clean that up really well. So for my own sanity, I'll probably do that. Okay, so at any rate, I did press this afterwards, and the reason I didn't press it before is, like I said, I've actually pushed this piece through this little opening on the shoulder to turn it inside out. So it would have been totally crinkled anyway. I used the iron on the medium setting. I was going to say that you should use a pressing cloth for this satin, but I actually found that the medium setting was good enough. It got the ironing done, and it did not leave any marks that I can tell on the ironing. So that's pretty decent. One thing I do want to say is that I need to press this a little more, but you see the ridges. The reason why you see those ridges is because I sewed this by hand, not using my machine, because I was doing it at night and I didn't, want to bother anybody with the machine. So I'm going to go ahead and put the skirt on the bottom of this, and then I will show you how I clean that up. I'm not going to do the hem on the skirt because I'm definitely going to run that on the machine. Or here's a thought too. If I don't run the hem on the machine, what I can do is hem, turn it up, and put the ribbon that I bought across there to hide the hem. So that's a thought too. Here's the mock-up with Molly in the dress. I think it fits pretty good. So I'm going to go ahead and whip out the sewing machine, stitch this up, and hem it, add the trimmings.